Hey, what's up again, everybody? It's Robert184, 2Rs2Bs from Gundam.tk, which is GundamReviews.net. And last year I did a year in review, and I thought I'd do the same this year, where I take a look at all of the lines that Bandai has put out this year, and some of the kits, with some of the pros, some of the cons, and maybe we can glean some insights into the future based on what Bandai has released so far. And the only thing being that this is all opinion, and you will have your own, and I'd love to hear yours so that other people can check those out with a comment down below. To kick things off with the easy category, how about perfect grades? Because there were no releases. After we got the perfect grade Red Frame and the 00 Riser and Strike Freedom, we've had a good run, but sadly December this year saw the big Master Grade Full Armor Unicorn and the 148th Age 1 Normal. No perfect grade though, however I'm still holding out hopes that we'll get a Quanta one day, and a Unicorn remains the dream of many into the future. Moving on to the bread and butter though, the Master Grade line, my favorite and perhaps yours. In years past I've been predicting that the number of Master Grades is going to fall, and sadly we only saw 10 released in the year 2011, and that's sort of offset by the fact that there was, 6 Figure-Eyes figures that also came out there. Now in terms of Bandai's eyes, when they're selling a box for $3,500 of plastic Master Grade, it doesn't really matter, I suppose, what's inside. But for Gundam fans like us, it's probably a little bit disappointing that we haven't got more original kits. And now, if you really like variations, you'll probably hear what I'm about to say very negatively. But let's run through what we got for the year. We got the Rizel Commander Type, which is a variation of the Rizel, the Death Scythe Hell Custom, which is a variation, the Shenlong Gundam, which will get a variation, the Wing Gundam Endless Waltz, which is a color variation, 00 Riser is a variation of the Quanta, the Epyon has the inner frame similar to the other EW stuff, but is pretty original. Delta Plus, also original, although it could get remade in the future with a variation. 00 Gundam 7 Sword, a variation within the year. The Sandrock will be getting a color variation. And the Full Armor Unicorn Gundam, we've had a million variations. This one just has a lot more weapons. So if you're looking for original Master Grades, the year 2011 has to be pretty disappointing. That's not to say that there aren't some great kits in there. There absolutely are. I'm talking about the Death Scythe Hell Custom, 00 Riser, Epyon Delta Plus, and the Full Armor Unicorn Gundam. There's a lot of good things, but if you're looking for brand new original molds and you want to see things like Master Grade Turn X or DX or X or things like that, sadly they were not on the plate for last year, and I wonder if they're going to be on the horizon for next year. High Grade Universal Century fared a lot better with, 15 kits or so released last year. A couple variations in there. There was some Future Century there with the Shining, the Master Gundam, and 2 versions of the Nobel Gundam. But outside of that, old school fans had to be pretty happy with the number of Unicorn and classic suits from the Gym 3 and the Gym 2 and much sought after classic old kits like that. The Drysen, hope that gets a double Zeta release of retail in the future. The Extreme Gundam was just thrown in as a bit of a bonus, I suppose, for people to hate after losing to him in the game. But overall, High Grade Universal Century, I think, is doing a very good job, even if the Master Grade line is perhaps letting people down, of keeping old school Universal Century fans, and especially fans of Unicorn, in the Gunpla game. The Real Grade line certainly didn't take off, as it pretty much did what it did last year. You've got the regular Gundam and the Char Zaku 2 came out last year. This year we had 3 releases, with the Strike and Freedom being the 2 lead Gundams from Gundam Seed coming out this year, and they sandwiched the Zaku Green one, which is just a color variation, which came out in the summer. However, things look to continue to be going up because we're going to be getting the Sky Grasper, along with the extra strike packs for the Strike Gundam, which is going to add a lot to that. It would have been nice if that had come out this year. But again, it's sort of cool that they've been keeping such great kits coming out at such reasonable prices. You've got that $2,500 price point, which seems to just be a sweet spot. Hopefully it's doing well with consumers, and Bandai will be making a lot more into the future. But as is fitting, Bandai put a lot of effort into their new show when they put it out. Gundam Age came out with its kiddified view, although it's been picking up in intensity in the anime anyway over the last few episodes. In terms of models, we've had 9 high grades and 8 advanced grades. So the advanced grades, you can really see are trying to get people in. The first grade line bombed, obviously, for 00, with us only getting 4 releases and not a 00 Gundam in that. So they weren't selling the advanced grades. It remains to be seen. They've got that functionality that you can go play with them. But more importantly, the high grades are all pretty good. You've got a few variations in there with the Genoises and things like that, and the Age 1 with its 3 different wares, but otherwise there's not a lot of duplication, and it's a pretty solid line overall. One thing though that we can see is that the 160th line sadly seems to be quite dead. And what was it? 160th Exia seems to be the last release there. The 148th Mega Size model line seems to have taken over with the Gundam and the Zaku twins, well, red and green, and now the Age 1 normal and then the Age 2 perhaps. So what that means is just with no 160th, that really it makes you wonder about the future perfect grades. Or is 148th where everything's going to be, because Bandai can still make 8,400 yen or whatever off each of these, despite the fact that really they're just blown up high grades or 1/100ths the way you want to see that. There are going to be a lot more age kits coming out in the new year, which is going to make sense. 00 had a huge number overall, and I wonder if we'll see the numbers in the high grades up to the 50s. With some of the color variations like the ZSR, it seems to be possible, and it'll really come down to just how many bad guys and good guys they throw at us for that third generation, and whether they learn how to Trans Am or not. To sadly end on a bummer note, Gundam 00 was Bandai's bread and butter for the last few years. You had 2 seasons, 25 episodes split up, and a movie, mangas in between, and all sorts of stuff like that. And how many Gundam 00 kits did we get released in 2011? Outside of the master grades, 0. So no high grades. There were lots of things under consideration. They didn't show up. No extra 1/100ths of the movie allies or things like that. No master grades of anything. Good guys, bad guys, Reborns, Susanos. It would have been very nice to see. So sadly, fans of 00, this was not your year, and I can only hope that we don't have to wait 10 years like you people have for Seed to get master grades of some of the bad guys that you can have fight beside Setsuna and his allies. So overall, there was an up and down year across the lines, perfect grade being down, master grades being down perhaps, 00 being dead. Despite the fact that Seed sort of lingered on with manga variations and things like that, nothing for 00 is pretty sad to see this year. There are some winners though. The real grade line is ever so slightly increasing. High grade Universal Century had a great year, and that's thanks, in no small part thanks, to the success of Gundam Unicorn and UC overall. Age also had a good year in terms of kicking off a new series, and I think that your 2011, or mine anyway, is going to come down to what you think about the age line. And for me, the age line is okay. If I go back though and I think about how much fun 00 was and all those new kits coming out, it seemed like there was a new exciting high grade all the time for that. Not to mention the 1/100th non-grades to keep things going, 1/60th and stuff like that. So if I had to compare this year to years in the past, I'd say with the master grade line seeming to be nothing but variations. Now, some of them are great, and, you know, if you're going to make both versions of an Endless Waltz kit, that's certainly not a bad thing that is just a variation, but there's just not a lot of new original molds in there, and I'm looking at things like Turn X, and what are the odds of us getting a GOG or things like that? With the O coming out and being that large, and if it's just not selling and getting marked down right away drastically on Amazon and online places, I sort of worry for the future of master grades, especially with Figure-Eyes line being on the rise. But overall, I just can't say that this year was as much fun as 00 because age just doesn't seem to stack up. However, that's just me. What about you? How does this year feel compared to other years? Do you care? Are things on the uprise, downswing, whatever? I'd love to hear your opinion, and video responses or comments down below are always greatly appreciated. Anyway, I'm hoping that 2012 is going to be a better year, and this one wasn't a bad one, but you can stay tuned for next year when I have my year in review of this year. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. All opinion, let me know yours, and thanks for watching. Lots more to come, reviews, opinions, and everything in between. Thanks for watching. I don't know. I'd say with Fuunsaiki getting a model, that 2011 is an unqualified success.